It's Open House Thursday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Obiajulo Olabisi Ugbo, and with me are the amazing ladies. YK in the building. Yo. How you doing today, Mama?
I'm fine.
You're looking Indianish.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
they have this fabric that has all of this shine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was just going to say I have red Indian blood.
Oh, you do?
I do. I actually do.
Mommy?
Yeah, from my not from my father now.
Okay. Your father is Niger. Niger.
Though I think my father too is half caste, half Igbo, half Yoruba. Because you know it's yellow like Igbo people.
Yeah.
It was yellow like Igbos.
So yeah.
I
How you doing?
Yeah, somewhere. Yes. So
give us.
yesterday we were visited by the fantastic actor.
Yes.
Jumbo Ega.
Wow. Amazing.
He came to the shrine. So very, very lovely guy. Very lovely, very humble, nice. If you don't know who I'm talking about, the guy who starred in Woman King, the king in Woman King.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. How long is he staying in the country? Should we come pay a visit?
No start.
He's leaving today, actually.
Oh, okay.
He's leaving today.
Okay.
So he came yesterday. It was very, very nice. Very, very nice. He's so nice. He's such a lovely guy. Very humble.
Toured the shrine. He saw everything that was happening.
Yeah, we took him around.
Did you give him pepper rice?
We gave him amala and ewedu.
Oh, shit.
He was so happy. He was so happy with assorted meat. He was so happy. You know, because the people that brought him, they gave him hamburger. So he was saying, he's hungry, Shabbat. Kiniko. I said, I mean, you want amala? I said, yes, so amala, ewedu. Yeah.
And he had a good time eating it.
He finished it. He quaffed everything.
He's a true Niger boy now.
He's a true Niger boy.
I have a video with him when he came the first time he came around.
In 2018?
Yes, that he posted. It wasn't a very flattering video of me, but he posted it on his page. I felt very important. Like, that's me hanging out with Hollywood stars.
Oh, shit. Amazing. Nima, how you doing?
Fine. My husband's secretary, woke up very tired today. I had to follow him around his business. He's on leave yesterday. But my son did something very funny this morning. He woke up and I was getting ready. So I said, since your father is around, people should bond. My husband then said to him, come, let me make your cereal. He just busted out laughing. The first I said, I'm talking to you. He said, I don't understand what you mean. I said, you don't understand what? Which one? Am I not speaking English? He said, Daddy, make cereal. Please, mommy, let's go.
It was strange to him.
It was strange to him. He found it funny. He insisted.
But it has to be.
My husband insisted, let's go. He insisted, it's not your call. You don't do this. Is my bonding moment.
With mommy or
He refused it to, and it's not about bonding for me. I think it's a stereotype. My son is used to his mommy's duties.
Yeah.
He's not, and he will not accept any other help from anybody except me. The time he will go, because I need me and the dad to set him up. He will go hungry if he doesn't eat.
Okay, Miriam, how you doing?
I'm doing amazing. So I thank God because I have two good news to share. There's one I've been holding really close to my heart. So I was waiting for it to, come to fruition fully. So I was approached by Conservation Without Borders. So it's a conservation-based initiative, NGO. It's founded by Sasha Dench. She's a world-renowned conservationist. And she had seen my book, Vultures to the Rescue, the Cleanup Crew. She's also an ambassador to the United Nations. And she has asked me to come on her organization as an ambassador. You guys guess who my co-ambassadors are? So there's David Attenborough. For those of you who follow environmental news, you know him. That's like the godfather of, conservation. Then there's Dame Joanna Lumley.
Wow.
She's, you know her, of course. A-list British actress. Then there's Randeep Hooda. He's an A-list Indian Hindi actor. And then Dame Judi Dench. Yes. So I'm co-ambassadors with these people. It's such a huge deal.
That's
I'm
huge.
so excited. Yes.
Huge. Well done.
Congratulations. Thank you. And all because of the book that I'd written, and they felt that this was, it was an impactful book, and it would help with what it is that they are trying to push ahead. They're coming to Nigeria. They want to take videos of me doing my school readings and things like that. I'll be on BBC, all those sort of things. So I'm excited about that.
You're blown, girl.
Then the second one is a foundation by my dear friend Olariwaju sector is called Seed Care and Support Foundation. She's asked me to come on as an ambassador of this foundation. So her foundation really focuses on children that go to school in low-income schools. And her foundation is to highlight their issues and make sure that, you know, with partners and collaborators.
She's been on the show at some point.
Yes, she has, so that they're not left behind as we try to ramp up quality education for these children. So I'm on board as ambassador to sort of highlight what it is she's doing.
Well done.
Well done. Well done.
So we should just be calling you Ambassador Miriam.
Yes, Ambassador Miriam.
Yeah.
Ambassador, don't borrow my brother's name.
So thank you. I feel really honored, and it's such a huge privilege, you know.
It is. Well done. Let's go on a short break now. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So joining us on the show is the founder and president of Abel Damina Ministries International, ADMI, and the CEO of Network Kingdom Life Network, KLNA, Christian Satellite TV channel. He'll be discussing with us on different issues. Welcome, Dr. Abel Damina.
Thank you very much, and I'm glad to be here this morning.
Yes, you have been tagged a controversial pastor.
Okay.
And I want to start with that because some persons have seen your sermon as probably jumping out of the scriptures or adding to the scriptures, and people are wondering. They've said that we're not supposed to add to what the Bible has said. We're supposed to stay within what the concept of the scriptures, and it seems like when you're preaching, you sort of take it out of the box of the Old and the New Testament. What do you have to say to that?
Well, thank you for that question. First of all, I think I always answer like this. The controversy that people think I am is because they are used to hearing lies. When a man's ears are tuned to lies, when he hears the truth sounds like controversy.
Wow.
The truth of the matter is, so many things that have been taught in the church world over the years are not consistent with the scriptures. Because the scripture is the boundary of all Christian learning, and the scriptures is the boundary of the knowledge of God. So when lies become an institution, truth looks like rebellion. So that's why many people think I'm controversial. But when you look at the scriptures in the light of Christ, again, you know, when Jesus showed up, the things he taught differed from what the Pharisees and the Sadducees were teaching. And so the Sadducees and the Pharisees, which were like the organized religion of his day, thought he was going against the norm. But he differed. He had a didache. Didache is a Greek word for a form or a mode of explanation of the scriptures that differed from what they taught. In Luke chapter 24, verse 25, Jesus rises from the dead after 3 days in the grave on the way to Emmaus. He meets two disciples of his who have been with him for 3.5 years, arguably Cleopas and the wife. And they were discussing, and he said to them, "Gentlemen, what are you guys talking about?" They turned to Jesus and they said to him, "Are you a stranger in Israel? Have you not heard about a guy that was crucified 3 days ago, a good guy?" They thought he was a martyr, but he wasn't a martyr. He was actually dying the death of a sacrificial lamb. And then they said to him, "We thought he was the one that was going to free us from the tyranny of Herod. We thought he was going to restore to us political relevance." And to make matters worse, today is the third day when he said he will rise. Certain women went to the grave and made the grave empty, and so angels who told them he was no longer there. And then Jesus turned to them in verse 25 and said to them, "O fools, slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. If you were reading well, ought not Christ to have suffered these things and to enter into his glory?" So I'm beginning at Moses and all the prophets. He expounded unto them in all the scriptures. Look at the destination. The things concerning himself. So we say the Bible is a Christocentric material that carries with it a Christocentric message, a Christ-centered emphasis. So if the emphasis of the scriptures you've been exposed to is not Christ-centered, I will sound controversial. I will sound controversial. But if the emphasis you've been exposed to is Christ-centered, Christocentric, then I will be your main guy. You will love what I teach. Because my emphasis is Christ, because the whole Bible is the book of Christ. John 5:39. Jesus said to the Jews, you search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life. But the scriptures testify of me. Which means the destination of all Bible study is Christ.
Yes.
Christ-centered.
If you study the Bible and you can't arrive at Christ, you've not studied the Bible.
Yeah. So let's get in it.
These disagreements are because, you know, there are two books. There's the Old Testament, there's also the New Testament. And if you're, when you say you're Christ-centric, are you a New Testament person as opposed to those who focus on the Old Testament?
Well, I think, again, the problem with a lot of different concepts of scriptural teaching is because quite a number of preachers have not been properly trained. And what I mean by proper training is they have not been properly educated when it comes to the interpretation of scripture. Somebody asked me not long ago, after about 40 years of ministry, if you look back, what will be your greatest regret? And I said, my greatest regret will be that when I started ministry early, nobody sat me down to emphasize the principles of Bible interpretation. And if a preacher has not been tutored on, you know, many preachers have problems when it comes to the interpretation of the scriptures.
Sir,
Okay.
So I just want to refer to a particular message that you've been called out for, and in fact, a Christian body has sort of denounced you as, you know, part of the body of Christ. He says that there's this message where he said there is no heaven. You don't need God to succeed. Jesus is not coming back, and heaven is a scam.
So again, that body that wrote that later, I think they are not a serious people, first of all, because I've never even heard of that body before.
Okay.
Secondly, I think they are not studious and they are not thorough in their analysis. And somebody who is serious does not make conclusions based on hearsay. And I'm not sure they've listened to any of my teaching for an hour. I never said heaven is a scam, so that's a lie. All right? When I said you don't need God to succeed, it came out of before he created the heaven and the earth. Sure. Where was he before he created the heavens and the earth? And the audience went like, wow. All right? And then I didn't go into details on teaching about where God was, because that was not the emphasis of that service. But I have a 40-hour teaching on heaven, the realities of heaven and all of that. And I would have expected that body, if they're very serious, to have gone look for my 40 hours of teaching, listen to it first, before coming out to say, I said there's no heaven. I never said such a thing.
I wanted to ask, the former governor of Anambra State had made a statement. Do you agree with him or not? He said that if he would rather turn night vigils into night shifts so that people can be more productive. I tend to agree with what he said. What do you think?
Well, I think the night vigils are not the problem. The problem is that our society has not created such opportunities that allow people to work night and day. Because if they do, even where people work night and day, people still do night vigils. So I don't think night vigils is the problem. The problem is the opportunities that allow people to work day and night have not been created. Because in countries where people work day and night, people still do night vigils. Prayer is not a problem. It's just that the enabling environment to do those kind of jobs is yet to be created.
There are night jobs here. The security, you work security morning and night. So there are night jobs here.
But I don't...
There's nurses and doctors work morning and night.
Yeah.
So we do have night jobs. So what Peter will be saying is we spend all our time doing night vigil when we can be more productive.
I agree with him. You know, a society that ought to thrive shouldn't spend the whole time in church. I've said it many times. That's why they said, I said you don't need God to succeed.
Okay.
It was a whole teaching, and I was taking time to explain that what God has given you the ability to do, don't wait for him to do it for you.
For you,
All right? So you've got to do what you've got to do to get your society to function. There are even societies who don't even believe in the existence of God, and they're doing very well physically, economically, and otherwise. You know, so those are the kind of things I was explaining.
So I've always had issues with how a lot of people interpret the scriptures. I happen to fall into the sort of people you call seekers, because I do not see the scripture, maybe because of my background of having to study the scripture back to back based off my father's kind of church. We started studying quite early and we're able to see things different from the regular teachings, you know, able to think beyond what is just written, and aside from being spiritual about it, also following logic to properly understand. So I've always looked forward to pastors who would give us the real thing and not just take Joseph, do this one and that one and run and everybody's screaming, you know, but pastors that would challenge us to read, to understand the things said and not said even in the scriptures. And you sound very interesting. You sound like that kind of pastor. You sound like my kind of pastor. I'll definitely listen to your teachings. But there's also another concept that people are worried about. When I have conversations with people, it comes up where it seems like at the time of writing the scriptures, it was patriarchal. And for every time a woman was mentioned in the scriptures, the woman was made to be subservient. The woman was made to be less than the man, which I used to disagree with, because I remember that at the beginning he made them male and female, right, and he blessed them equally.
Right.
But we see how in the scriptures they tell us to shut up, the woman is not supposed to speak, blah blah blah, and a lot of people are still running with that in this world. So I'd like to ask you, does it seem like God favors the man more than the woman? Or how do you explain the fact that a lot of people are still holding to patriarchy and they're saying the scripture said you must do it as the scripture has said?
Actually, the truth of the matter is I was in London, and Premier Radio, Christian radio station, I think is one of the biggest in the UK, interviewed me, and that was the first question they asked, because they said some guys in Hollywood said they don't like the Bible because the Bible seems to favor men against women. And they were asking me, and I said to them, the first problem you have with that is when you meet the wrong pastors, guys who don't know the scriptures, who just read the Bible but don't understand what it takes to interpret the scriptures. So there's the Old Testament and there's the New Testament. The Old Testament is not books, and the New Testament is not books. Okay. I know in your Bible, the Old Testament is supposed to be Genesis to Malachi, and the New Testament is supposed to be Matthew to Revelation. Yeah. But that distinction was not done by the original writers. It was done in the 16th and 18th century by translators to make it easy for you to handle the book. Okay. But originally, the Old Testament is not books. The New Testament is not books. The Old Testament is Jesus concealed. The New Testament is Jesus revealed. Okay. So which means the New Testament unveils the Old Testament. The Old Testament is called mystery. The word mysterion in the Greek, it means that which needs to be unveiled. The New Testament is apocalypsis, which is, revelation, the unveiling. So the New Testament unveils the Old Testament, which means the Old Testament is in the New Testament, and the New Testament is in the Old Testament, which makes it one book. So now, the Old Testament is a relationship with God that is predicated on what what man can do, man's efforts, man's qualifications. The New Testament is a relationship with God that is predicated on what Christ has done, which qualifies an undeserving man to come into a relationship with God. You know, the dilemma of man has always been, how can a mortal man relate with an immortal God? How can an imperfect man be in relationship with a perfect God? How can a sinless God relate with man who all he knows is to sin? That's been the dilemma. And that's why there was the need for God to become a man in the person of Christ, to create a relationship where man and God can relate on perfect legal grounds. Now, so the Old Testament, therefore, is a relationship with God, like we said, which is predicated on man's effort. And it was given by a law called the Law of Moses. So there is the Law of Moses, which spans from Exodus to Malachi. Because in Hebrews chapter 8, verse 6, the Bible says, Jesus has given us a more excellent ministry. Verse 7 says, for if the first covenant had been faultless, there will be no need for the second. So for finding fault with them, so the Old Testament found fault with the people to whom it was given, which was the Law of Moses. You know, the question you're asking, they asked Jesus in Matthew chapter 19. They said, why did Moses give permission to the men to divorce their wives? Matthew 19:3. And this was Jesus' answer. He says, Moses permitted the Israelites to put away their wives because of the hardness of their hearts. So which means the Law of Moses is a reflection of the hardness of a man's heart. And it is in the law of Moses you find all those things. Because in the law of Moses, a man can marry and put away his wife.
Yeah.
But the wife cannot put away her husband. So all of that, that's the law of Moses. Now the law of Moses was an interruption of God's plan. So Jesus' answer was, how did you get to Deuteronomy before Genesis? Have you not read the word anaginosko in the Greek? It means, have you not read and paid attention to the fact in Genesis before Deuteronomy that he that made them male and female. So he takes them back to the plan, the original plan. It's man and woman.
Not man and many women.
Not man and many women. And if you go back to that Genesis, you'll find out that before God gave Eve to Adam, he opened Adam's eye to see Eve as a rib. Now the rib in Genesis is not rib. The rib in Genesis is a communication that establishes, like in architecture, the rib of a house is one side of the house. The other rib is the other side of the house. Okay. So which makes man and woman equal sides of one house. The rib there is not the physical, because when they were talking about rib, science had not even come into play to talk about it. Okay. And then I always say, if your rib is missing, get a doctor to fix it back. You know, so he was talking about the fact that man and woman are equal. Two equal sides.
Please pause. Repeat that one again.
Man and woman are equal. Two equal halves of a house. So that means before a wife, you need to see a woman as the equal side of the other half that you are. Then when you've seen a woman in that form, you can now get married. Because when you get married and she submits to you, you're not going to treat her as a slave. You're going to see that she's an equal side of who you are. But in this institution, you are the one who makes the final decision as to how you run the home. Because two pilots cannot be in one boat. Exactly.
Let me pause you here, sir. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll find a way to wrap up this conversation. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Everyone dreams of a better tomorrow. A tomorrow fueled by hope for the future. ARM has everything you need to go from where you are to where you need to be. Join us. Let's face tomorrow together. ARM. Invested in your tomorrow.
The world needs masters. Captains of industry, no matter the industry. Thought leaders whose decisions are beyond mere educated guesses. They are based on indisputable knowledge. Masters aren't born. No, masters are made. With the Master of Business Administration and Master of Public Administration degrees from MIVA Open University, the world will always have masters. So, become a master today at MIVA Open University and enjoy convenient and flexible master's degree programs. Study anywhere, anyone, anytime. Visit www.miva.university now to get started.
My champs, they use energy at school.
Your champs need nourishing energy. Give them the new and improved Milo at breakfast.
It has nutrients that support energy release.
Milo! Mealtime is game on. Meet my Sure Bet Game Changer, made from natural ingredients to deliver game-changing chicken aroma and taste for my whole team.
Mom, why did we not use this before?
Upgrade your chicken game with game-changing chicken flavor from Maggi Chicken.
Welcome back. We're still having an interesting conversation with Dr. Abel Damina, and YK is ready to fire him some more questions.
Yes. I belong to the school of African traditional religion, African traditional spirituality.
Okay.
So when I see people like you, I find it very difficult to connect, because I believe that you are indoctrinating our people more and more. You are, well, whether we like it or not, Christianity is foreign. You know, it was brought into us by the colonialists, the missionaries. That's not what we practiced. So are you saying that our own spirituality is not valid? Are you saying our own spirituality is second to
what you have,
this one that you are?
Christianity.
Or, yeah,
inferior
or inferior.
To, yeah.
You know, the truth of the matter is all world religions are seeking for salvation. Every world religion. It's man's way of seeking for salvation, because man has accepted that he has failed where it comes to righteousness, where it comes to right standing with God, where it comes to perfection. So all world religions are there to seek for salvation. In Christianity is the only faith where you have assurance of salvation, because the Bible teaches, for God so loved the world, not the church, not Christians. He loves everybody. Traditionalist, whatever religion you belong, God loves the world. That he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever, irrespective of where you are, whosoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. And that is what man is seeking for. That eternal assurance, that relationship, that peace with God. And that peace with God is given in the person of Jesus Christ. So beyond the fact that, you know, I'm a traditionalist or I belong to another religion, one thing is sure, that everybody is seeking for salvation. Everybody is seeking for a strong relationship with God. And the Bible, how to connect with God. And the forgiveness of sins, of course. The forgiveness of sins, which is really what gives man the confidence to approach God. In Christianity, our God has not waited for us to come to him. He has come to us in the person of Jesus Christ. The Bible tells us in Matthew chapter 1 verse 21, he shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins. If you observe, when Jesus was born, the people that even came from the east were not Christians. They came from the east because they were already told in whatever religion they belonged that there's going to be the birth of a savior, and astrology told them that the star is going to indicate when the savior is born. And when Jesus was born, they came, and they came to pay worship. That was in the Bible.
Yes.
That's not in a history book.
Wise men,
it's in a Bible. In the Bible, not in a history book. So that is the narrative
that was told to us.
That was told to us.
Yes.
That's not the all-in-all narrative.
Yes.
And when you say that other religions or other spiritualities don't give you salvation, I beg to disagree, because have you practiced the Ifa religion, for instance?
Well, again, I have not practiced the Ifa religion.
So you can't say it doesn't give salvation. You need to practice it first.
I have come across people who have practiced those religions and they have not found the assurance of salvation in those religions. I've come across them. They are still in doubt. They are not sure of eternity. Some of them are even afflicted by demons, and they are looking for how to be free from those evil spirits.
Oh, wow.
So I've come across such people, and I've interacted with them. I started ministry like 40 years ago. So I've interacted with a diverse class of people all over the world. And I can tell you, I said that based on my experience with people, encounters with people that have been in this religion.
Okay, let's have Enima.
Yeah, okay.
I saw you had jumped on the controversy, I believe, started by with Daddy Freeze on tithe paying, or payment of tithe, when he called out and said it was foolish to pay it. And then later on I saw a video of you trending where you also said it wasn't to be paid. And then it seemed like you're a bit inconsistent, because you had said it shouldn't be paid, and then you had said something to alter it when criticism had come up. What exactly is your stand as regards payment of tithe, and how do you react to the controversies of the PFN members when they called you out because of it?
Well, you know, I think the tithe issue has been so overflogged. The first thing we're dealing with is that God is not transactional. The God we serve does not need your dime. He doesn't need your filthy lucre to relate with you. He's not hungry for money. He owns the earth. The earth is the Lord's. And the fullness thereof. He created the universe. All the diamonds, all the gold and the silver, he put them there. He can't be saying he cannot relate with you if you don't give him some money. That's character assassination. Wow. God owns everything. So that gospel of tithe is a gospel that was communicated where God is presented as he will never answer your prayer till you give him a tip. He will never do something for you till you massage him with a little money. He will not do anything for you. So every time you're coming to God, you must have something in your pocket. You know, so
but these are biblical things. So first fruits.
I'm just laying a foundation. So now, where did the issue of tithe start from? And I've never contradicted myself. I've maintained a consistency on the issue of tithing over the years. The tithe started with Abraham. Genesis 14 is called the law of first mention. Nobody asked Abraham for it. Nobody did. But where is Abraham coming from? Abraham is coming from idol worship. In idol worship, you don't go to idols empty. You must come with something. That's the foundation of Abraham's mindset. So Abraham goes to war, defeats his enemies, recovers Lot. On his return, he meets a man called Melchizedek, a type of Christ. Now, not Christ, a typology of Christ. And Melchizedek said to Abraham, "Blessed be Abraham of the Most High, the possessor of heaven and the earth." That's in Genesis 14, by the way. And Abraham, having heard the blessing from Melchizedek, took a tenth of the spoil of war and gave to Melchizedek the tithe. He didn't pay. He gave in response to what Melchizedek has said, and in response to the victory that God gave him at the place of war. Few years down the road, Moses shows up. Moses became a prophet over Israel because God in Numbers 19 said to Israel, "I want to make you a kingdom of priests and kings. I want to relate with you directly." And Israel said, "No, we don't want to relate with you directly, God. If you want to do anything with us, talk to Moses. If we want to talk to you, we will talk to Moses." So Israel appointed Moses a mediator, and God permitted, because God is not a tyrant. He will allow you have what you want, and he will warn you of the outcome, the consequences of your choices. So God said, "All right, you can have Moses, can be your mediator." And then Moses now preached Christ to Israel, and Israel did not listen to Christ. So Moses began to give them laws and laws and laws. And now, since you don't want to relate with God directly, it means you will need a priesthood. So Moses set up a Levitical priesthood. Now the Levites were a tribe in Israel that were set apart to serve in the temple. And they were not supposed to walk. They were not supposed to farm. They were just supposed to stay in the temple on behalf of Israel. So Moses said, "Okay, we're going to borrow a leaf from Abraham. If the Levites are not going to work, it means you guys will have to pay a tithe of what you own, since they are working for you. And that will be done once a year during harvest." So the tithe was from food, plants, and herbs. That was the tithe. And somebody said to me, "But there was no money." I said, "No, it's a lie. There was money right from Genesis before Exodus." So it's not because there was no money, it's because the tithe was food stuff. That's why when Malachi will speak, he will say, "Bring you all the tithe that there may be food." There may be food. There may be food, because the tithe was all from food, from food stuff. And they were doing that all through until Malachi. Jesus shows up in the book of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And the Bible tells us in Galatians chapter 4, verse 4, "But when the fullness of the time was come, God sent forth his Son, made of a woman, made under the law, to redeem them that were under the law." Which means Jesus existed under the law of Moses. In Matthew 5:17, he says, "I'm not come to destroy the law, but to fulfill." That means to meet the demands that the law gave to man that man could not meet. So Jesus met those demands. Romans chapter 10, verse 4 tells us, "Christ is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone who believes." Galatians 3:13 tells us, "Christ hath redeemed us from the curse of the law, being made a curse for us, for it is written, curse is everyone that hangs on the tree, that the blessing of Abraham might come on the Gentiles, that we may obtain the promise of the Spirit through Christ." So Jesus took away the law and all the demands of the law. Today, we don't pay tithe. What do we do today? The New Testament church started in the book of Acts. The New Testament started in the book of Acts after his resurrection. Because Matthew 26:28 says, "This is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins."
So that's where tithe started?
So, no, in the New Testament, which is the book of Acts, no tithe. What they had was generosity. People gave willingly, generously. Nobody demanded anything from anybody. But people gave out of their own volition.
Let me ask, do they pay tithe in your church?
No, we don't pay tithe.
We don't pay tithe in your, so you can donate
People just
willingly?
give freely. People know the projects. They know what we're going to do. And people just
and when
give
you're led, you gift. So we have a caller on the line, and I'll come to Miriam. Joshua.
I need to ask him a question.
Oh, let Miriam speak. Joshua, good morning. Miriam haven't spoken. Yes, you're live. From London, good morning.
Yeah, I'm live with you. Yeah, I'm calling from London.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I want to ask a question from Dr.
Abel. Yes.
Morning, YK.
Good morning.
Yeah, nice to hear your voice. And,
thank you. Nice.
I'm a regular person in this very your view. And I really like what you ladies are doing. You are really enlightening Nigerians. Because Nigerians are really wallowing in your ignorance of many things. And to be real with you, you've asked a very pertinent question. No one can tell anyone as a human being that Jesus is the one that fit to die for anyone. Jesus is just like a normal human being like us. I was born a Muslim. My name is Joshua Akim Aregbe. I was born a Muslim and I practiced Muslim religion for when I was 35, because I became a Christian. If you ask anyone, even Dr. Dike knows me very well. I'm a very active person in Mountain of Fire Miracle. The day I asked a question that why would you think Christianity is the only way to see God? Why would you think that Muslim, any other religion, is not anything that God approved? Because the Bible that you keep referring to when he asks you this question was that you are still referring to the Bible. It's a good book, it's a good story book. But to me, as an individual and as a person, there's nothing spiritual about it. It's about a story about a certain region that practices certain things. Like as an Africans, we have our own religion from the one that we inherited from our forefathers. And it has been working for us. You won't tell me because I don't practice Christianity, I don't believe in Jesus Christ, I can't get salvation. What is salvation? What is my sin? My father and my mother slept with each other, they gave birth to me. They are my God. They trained me, they put everything in themselves, both of them, as a man and husband. They trained me before I became a matured man. And I begin to realize that my God is my parent. Because if my mother had decided to terminate my pregnancy,
you won't have been
I won't be here, saying anything. But because they took all, they pour in all. You see, when our women go to labor, they are taking a very high risk because they are attempting suicide by bringing forth fellow human beings from themselves.
True. Well done, Joshua. I think we got the crux of the question. Do you have anything to say to that?
Well, that's his view, and again, he is entitled to his view, and I cannot concede the authority of the Bible to his view. The Bible tells us clearly, he that cometh to God must believe first that he is, and that he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek. As long as you do not come to that point of believing that he is, then I don't think we really have a platform for
That's the other thing that surprises me, what you're saying, because you are talking about the Jews, you're talking about the Malachites, or I can't remember all the people you are talking about. Where is Africa in this?
Africa
you haven't spoken about. You haven't spoken. You're telling me about Jews. You're telling me about.
Africa is huge.
You haven't mentioned Africa.
Yeah, because the discourse didn't go there. So let me bring you in.
Does the Bible even consider us as human beings?
Big time. I mean, Jesus was born at the age of 2. He was brought to Egypt. That's Africa. He was in Egypt for a long time before he finally went back to Israel. So it's not even a white man's religion, actually. Christianity is not even a religion to start with. It's a relationship with God.
Being Christ-like.
In Christ.
Yeah.
Basically.
So because of time, Miriam.
So what color was Jesus Christ?
Oh God.
Color,
Why cannot we're going to bring you back.
don't matter.
I'm asking.
Colors
I have
don't
to
matter.
ask because the pictures I see.
Many things are responsible for color. So colors don't matter. And the Bible didn't tell us what color because we're quiet where the Bible is quiet. We're loud where the Bible is loud. It doesn't tell us colors because colors are irrelevant. The important thing is that whether you're white, blue, or green, we all have red blood in our system.
Okay, so I've been itching to ask you this question. For me, it's just things that I'm grappling with as a Christian in modern times. One, there's this flamboyance that our modern day pastors seem to have, and they seem to preach about acquiring more and more material things. Or we talk about other sects where we've been taught, oh, homosexuality is a sin and God hates homosexuality, but then we're hearing leaders of the religion saying that no, we need to bring them in, they can lead the church and things like that. So I'm wondering, because you have also said when you started, yes, and then marrying them as well, you also said that the Bible was written for a particular time. So are we saying that these people are, and that Bible, seem to hate these things that I have mentioned? But if you're saying that we need to have a Bible for this time, does this mean these things are acceptable and we are the ones that need to grow and be part of the modern world?
Okay, so like I said, the Bible was written in a world that is not our world, a view that was not our view, grammar that is not our grammar, and language that was not even our language. Because when the Bible was written, there was no English in existence. English is just about 800 years old. The Bible was written far beyond that. So the languages that were in existence was Greek for the New Testament and Hebrew for the Old Testament, basically. So it means when Bible was translated into English, verbiage was still very young. And that's why even till now, English is still developing. Now, I didn't say that it was not written for us. What I mean is the culture in which it was written. If you're going to understand it, you must understand that culture, that worldview, and that verbiage. So the coming of Christ changed everything between the Old and the New Testament. The coming of Christ, the death of Christ, the burial of Christ, his resurrection is a game changer to everything. Now in Christ Jesus, John 1:29 tells us, behold the Lamb of God that taketh away the sins of the world. So Jesus came and died as a substitutionary sacrifice. Romans 4:25 said he was delivered for our offenses and he was raised again for our justification. And then Brother Paul in 1 Corinthians 15 talks about the gospel, how that Christ died for our sins.
Okay, because of time, I'd like you to just hit the nail on the head.
So, what about gay and all other things? Jesus died for everybody's sins, including gay. And when a man believes the gospel, he is saved. He receives eternal life. The life of God comes to be domiciled in him. Now, when he begins to grow in the knowledge of that reality, a transformation begins to take place in his mind. It is that transformation that begins to enable him to live the life that Christ wants him to live.
How about our pastors acquiring more and more?
Well, that's not the gospel. You know, that's not the gospel. All this materialistic gospel, and again, that's the kind of thing I've been preaching against. The materialistic gospel flaunts and wants you to just be like a superstar. But Jesus came to serve. The Bible says he came not to be ministered to, but to minister and give his life a ransom.
Are you rich?
And if you follow Jesus, you will display, manifest, his kind of life. Rich is relative. Somebody with 1,000 naira is richer than somebody with 100 naira.
Yeah. So one final question before I let you go. Yes. I know the producers are telling me we have to go. So there's something I am beginning to realize, which sort of pains me when it comes to some of these religions. I believe that religion, let me just stick to religion, has created a separation between us and the divine. And so you have to believe in a certain way to be able to have the Spirit of God, or to be able to have, God speak to you or God dwell in you. And I realized that before the Bible was put together, the likes of Abraham, Noah, they had no scripture to look to. They heard, their intuition spoke to them. What we now call, it was God speaking. Their God's feeling spoke. There's no record of them referring to anything to confirm before moving. They heard. They relied on their sixth sense and other senses that God has given to everybody to hear. But now we have a compilation of a book that you must refer to before you do anything. And people are teaching against relying on your ability to connect as a human being to your divine. And I would like you to speak to that, because it just seems like we are separated from God. We can't reach him. Some people have a closer antenna to talking to him, so you have to go through those people to reach him. You cannot reach him on your own. Finally, just few words.
Well, first of all, God has put in every human being the desire to know him. That's why everybody is seeking after God. Now, but when it comes to religion, Jesus didn't come to give us a religion. Religion is man's belief or man's efforts to get to God. That's what religion is. Jesus didn't come to give a religion. He came to give life. He said, I am come that you may have life and be abundant. When you receive that life brings within you the Spirit of God. When the Spirit of God comes on your inside, he gives you that witness. He gives you that leading. He gives you that direction. And he gives you that ability to fellowship and, intimately with God in your heart.
What about people who don't come to Christ?
Well, people who don't come to Christ will have to see they need to come to Christ.
No.
That's why we keep preaching.
So are you saying that they are relating to the divine, it's wrong because it doesn't come from a certain way?
Like I said, there's an appetite. God has put in every human being the hunger to seek after him.
Yeah.
And as you keep seeking, eventually he brings you there.
In Christianity.
Yeah. Okay, so millions of people in the world who are not Christians would find their way.
As they keep seeking.
All of
because
us.
Man keeps seeking and eventually he gets there.
I think we can
That's why
wrap up
Jesus
on
said,
that.
I'm the way.
Somebody just sent me a message that I should please tell you that the Creator has no gender in Yoruba mythology.
Yeah. Okay.
Olodumare has no gender, because you have been referring to God as a man.
Yeah, that's what the scripture told us.
I never even said he's a man.
Yoruba
I just said he is. I didn't say he's a man.
He is what?
Yeah. We have to go.
God is neither male
Your
nor
guess
female.
is quite clear.
You used he.
Male and female is humans. God is neither male nor human.
You didn't use
he
her.
is deity. He is
You didn't use her.
He is who he is.
Yeah.
She is who
Maybe
she is.
that is because of English, the limitations of English.
Exactly. Verbiage again.
Yes.
Your grammar
Thank
is
you
limited.
so much, everybody. We've been speaking to Dr. Abel Damina, the founder and president of Abel Damina Ministries International. Thank you so much for having such an enlightening conversation with us. When we come back, the show continues. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your view will be...
Sedap Supreme Noodles is here for you. Because only fine ingredients go into Sedap Supreme Chicken Essence to give it that truly delicious chicken taste. Sedap Supreme tasty chicken noodles with real chicken essence, capturing the Sedap Supreme tasty chicken goodness. Sedap Supreme Noodles, the essence of tasty chicken goodness. Also available in rich spices variant. Be Supreme Nigeria.
My champs, they use energy at school.
Your champs need nourishing energy. Give them the new and improved Milo at breakfast.
It has nutrients that support energy release.
Milo!
Maliciously good, maliciously good. Whether it's your chips or sandwich, yam fries or jollof rice, salad, pasta or plata, they make it taste so nice. Now you all get the bomber, you all get the taste. Now I can tell you any day that everything tastes better. It's bomber, maliciously good,
maliciously good.
Mealtime is game on. Meet my Sure Bet Game Changer, made from natural ingredients to deliver game-changing chicken aroma and taste for my whole team.
Mom, why did we not use this before?
Upgrade your chicken game with game-changing chicken flavor from Maggi Chicken.
Thanks for staying with us. So yesterday, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu approved the immediate implementation of 8 far-reaching actions to invigorate the administration yesterday, and which included the sacking of some ministers. Many of us woke up this morning to get the news of a few ministers who have been sacked, new ministers appointed, others reassigned. And there's been quite a bit of mixed reactions on this. What are your own thoughts? You can call us on 081-0764-1679, 0902416340. You can also send us messages on X and also on YouTube. We'll be happy to read your messages. What are your general thoughts? Let me come to the ladies. So many, let's start with those who were sacked. Top of that list, obviously, is Dr. Barrister Uju Kennedy Ohane. This is somebody that has been trending for a while. Many people really had, they believed in what she was doing based on what she was expressing to Nigerians. But when seeing her name on that list, it took many by shock. Let me get your thoughts on it. Who'd like to go first?
I felt she was very active. Maybe I'd called her out here that's not the kind of activeness we wanted. We wanted active activities that are geared around empowering women on a more long-term level. But the things she stood out for and the seeming controversies of her shutting down events, one thing that you cannot take from her is consistently she said she doesn't want to do events. She doesn't want the ministry to spend money or support events that will cost money that could have gone to the people. That, for me, was valuable. That, for me, it doesn't deserve to be for her to be stepped down on, because she represented something that was different. Yeah. What we see in Nigeria in most cases is when we want to flag off events, we have a ceremony that is very expensive. We spend money when we now finish the event, and she did not like it, she did not support it, and she did not mince word in expressing herself. Maybe she was too expressive. Maybe it is not usual to see women at that level coming up and saying those kind of things and calling out something that has become a norm in Nigeria. But I feel the president, knowing that we want to cut costs, should have taken that what she represents in saying no event to flag off programs should now become a nationwide policy. That as a country we will not be spending money doing events because we want to flag off an initiative. It didn't make sense. But I'm sure that there was a detailed report that preceded this readjustment. And that detailed report was based on KPIs that all the ministers were given. What I would love as a concerned citizen is if the KPI was published, so that the ones they kept, we will know if they actually kept up to it. Because some ministers were retained that I felt, we did not see you, but maybe they saw something. They should let us see what they saw so that we're sure about it.
So I second what you said, because this government said they're all about transparency, carrying us along. Let us know. So you're right. They should publish it so that we can also, judge them and then, score them. For me, Barrister Uju Kennedy represented certain values that were different from the normal values that we see in public service. And, I really like that about her, and I wish that they should have kept her, because her own really shook me. Because I looked at it, I said, there's some people there that should go. Why her? I don't think she was amongst those people. She stood for something, she had values, she believed in something, and she worked. She was still working, even though some people might feel that she kept coming on the news for wrong, maybe for not being diplomatic in the way they expected her to. But the thing is that we're all different and we handle things differently. And sometimes Nigerians need harshness. If you never shout, sometimes sometimes I want to leave the house. And I say I'm not going to curse today. But by the time you just drive less than 2 minutes, you're already under your breath, you're already cursing. So Nigerians sometimes they need that
my driver was,
and she did that.
My driver was gone for 2 weeks. He was ill. I had to drive. I was reminded of why I got a driver. Again, now I know I was engaged. I just see, you can't just, I was already shouting. You need your driver. Please come back and focus.
Yeah, you tell people that there are certain things you should make, criteria you should make before you do certain things.
Let me come to BC, because her non-conventional and crude approach could have been a threat to people within the ministry, because we saw them celebrating. And you're thinking, so you're celebrating. Why are you celebrating now? Is it fair for us to assume from outside, it's because she wanted to take top for your mouth? Or were there other things they were not happy about that maybe they also justified for cheering?
Yeah, so what I realized is human beings do not like change. People who have been in a certain system have found loopholes in the system to walk into their pockets will always frown when there's someone trying to cut that out. It will seem like, where are you coming from? Who gave you this opportunity? Why do you want to come and mess up what has been here since the days of our forefathers? And so there will always be people fighting. And this is where I expect that the federal government will see in between the lines to understand that this woman is working with the KPI we've given, whether you people like her or not, whether you're coming behind to tell me that she's very harsh or she's shouting, she's not diplomatic, is she doing the job? And that reminded me of Margaret Thatcher of the UK. You know, when she got into power and she was able to take some very tough decisions, she was able to fight some very, tough wars. People were like, why this woman? Why you? This is not how things are done. You're supposed to be making peace here. You're supposed to be doing things. But she stood her ground. And we know how long her administration lasted. People will always fight against it. So I would have expected that if this woman, except of course they are saying that what she's doing, the cost she's trying to cut, we don't want to cut the cost, which is different from what the presidency has always told us, that they are trying as much as possible to reduce the cost of government. And now you have someone who is deliberately trying to reduce it in this particular ministry where she has a jurisdiction, and then you send her away. I think it's unfair on that part. Also, working the system, there's a way we do things. We had this conversation yesterday that we always like to stay with the status quo. This is African. This is how you cannot just be calling out your elders in public. That's not how we do things. And you're even a woman for that matter. How dare you? Those are some of the things that may have played against her for you to have people jubilating.
But there could be actual, just like Tokwe said, there could be actual indices that she was being judged against. So maybe that this one works against her because but there could be other things that we did not see, because aside from your job as Minister of Women Affairs, there could be certain things that the president expects of you to do within this period. So maybe, as you said, let them release it to us. So we have an idea. Now, we might not all agree, but at least we'll have an idea where the thinking came from. But another person that we need to also talk about is the fact that
talk about Lola Adejo.
Lola Adejo. She came in and she was ill. She felt ill. Yeah. And I think she was flown out for a while. And since then, we haven't heard from her.
But she came back. She came back and she spoke about a few of the things she was. Because she was one of the people that I felt her appointment was a bit misplaced, because she's someone who's been in tech, and she's did well, and then you bring her into tourism. So for me, I was looking out for that place, and then I realized that why she was silent for a long time was because she wasn't feeling fine. But when she started coming out again this year, she spoke about what she wanted to do, highlighting the fact that tourism is about our culture, lack of funding with the Nigerian tourism development. There's a NTDA that is supposed to handle a lot of the things that are happening. But she highlighted the places and the partnership she's striking. Nigeria doesn't have like this website. Every time you go to, if you want to travel, you see
places to visit.
They have a website that you can use to access places to visit. But we don't really have that concerted platform where you can just say, if you come to Nigeria, you need to go to Kogosi, you need to go to Yankari Game Reserve, you need to go to... So she was working on something like that. So I'm worried that there will be... my concern is, will there be continuity of the good things even while we are bringing about...
But no, they've collapsed
it now, which is...
Now under Hannatu Musawa. It's not going to be under Hannatu Musawa, who's going to be handling arts, culture, and creative economy. So it's all part of it.
I think that was what it should have been in the first place, because I didn't understand why the tourism was separated from arts and culture and creative economy. So I just feel like the way they now did collapsed it and then put it together under one, I think it's just perfect.
To have more weight.
Also, I was expecting Dr. Betta Edu to be back. I was hoping. I thought they were going to be. The reason why I wanted her back.
They didn't even dignify her with a mention.
I'm saying, I don't understand. The reason why I thought she could have been given a second chance, because listen, this is a young woman, and I was given this opportunity. I don't know the circumstances behind behind what we have in the papers, but I think that she was young. Yes, there could have been a bit of inexperience that played out in whatever offense she was accused of. But I think just for the optics of this president is youth conscious and he's woman conscious. It would have been nice to give her another chance. At least let us see another 1 year what she can do. Because in that few months where she worked, we saw she was quite active, going around to all these various places, trying to see what they can do with the humanitarian affairs. So I would have liked to even see her back. I mean, you guys are expecting her back?
Maybe she frayed a lot of nerves. Maybe she, there's a way you do your work where you think that you have gotten to a position and then that humility that you came with, you suddenly drop it. And Nigerians are very particular about respect. They're very particular about how you talk to them, how you were talking to them before you got this position, and how you're talking to them now that you have the position. So they look out for some of those things. And, you know, the whispers in the quarters is that she was not looking at anybody's face. She just wanted to face her. It doesn't, this Obodo Yibo, it will work, where you focus on what... Yeah, we don't want to copy that one now.
So how do we know what to copy?
I'm just saying this is...
I know, I agree with you. I agree with you. Yesterday I was telling you too how we are. You are saying that no, we should copy US. Today you are saying we should copy here. So we're trying to
copy.
How we know they want to copy
well? We're not copying well. That's the problem.
But the thing is this. For the fact that nothing had been mentioned about her for a while, you understand? So for me, I was not expecting her to come back, because if she was going to come back, or if there was like a suspicion, where you will have heard and you will have seen, you know, things. But
moves.
It's been silent totally. So
who are you guys most happy about that was sacked?
Minister of Education.
Thank you. I was going to go there.
Everybody going there.
Are you happy?
But recent months now, it picked up.
Because there's not been strike, Sha.
In this last, that's what I'm saying now. In this last day, and then curriculum change.
What's your own issue? What's your issue?
What's your issue with him?
Now, that have a personal issue with him. I just feel for that ministry, we need someone who is an educationist. It's very important to me, because you need to understand the intricacies of the educational system. You need to be able to compare what is working, what is not. You need to be able to do a lot of things, but you can't do it from the outside, because you will not understand. It's not about 2+2 in the classroom, or about put a curriculum together. As long as students are going in and students are churning out, we are good. Education has gone beyond where we are in Nigeria, as a matter of fact. So we need someone who, aside from being an educationist, you have to be tech as well, to understand the needs of the different schools, the needs of the teachers themselves. A lot of teacher trainings need to be done. This is my space. So somebody that has to be there has to be good.
Well, I don't know much about
deliver.
I mean, Dr.
Jamila.
Okay, I'm going to stay on education, but let's go to Dr. Jamila.
Yes, Dr. Jamila, I don't know, the two ministers of youth were 38. So they took down, they discharged one and they discharged the female. I know that it's not because she's a woman. I'm sure there are other reasons why.
Why are you emphasizing it?
But she's a woman, and we must speak up for the fact that she's a woman.
Yeah.
Because right now, what they gave us, that we celebrated that we had a few female ministers. Now we are short one. We are short one, no, because we are calculating on your behalf, dear President. When you removed 3 women, you brought 3 women, but you did not put Betayedu here, and so that means you did not replace the female, another female slot. Every portfolio that a woman has, we want to keep as much as a woman there. Yes, and increase it, not reduce it. Right now, it's reduced, and I'm trying to, like I said, until they give us that KPI they used to make this.
We will not know.
People would assume it is political. People would assume it is based on pressure from different angles, or maybe she's not playing ball or all of that. That's why
speculations.
There'll be speculation. But if you give us the KPI, and since we know there was a KPI, then it should be released so that we can see. Because I wasn't expecting that the Minister of Sports will not be put on this list. That one shocked me, because all of us have been saying that the person, one of the people that disappointed us after what happened with the Olympic, that Minister of Sports should have just discharged. But we didn't see. They did not rearrange.
There's a National Commission, a Sports Commission. So I think they scrapped the Ministry of Youth. I'll go back to it. What was the? I'll get back to it in a second. Let me take this call. Good morning, Moyo.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes. So, I want to talk about the sacked Minister of Women Affairs.
Yes.
The thing is that Nigerians don't like strict leaders, and strict leaders always mean well. Unfortunately, strict leaders are not pleasant. They talk anyhow. And the thing is that if you are a boss that like anyhow, just allow people to come anytime they like, close anytime they like, misbehave anyhow, don't say anything. Those are the kind of leaders Nigerians see as good leaders. Another thing is that if you now call them out, to them, you're a bad leader. So you have to balance it and say, the reason I'm telling you to come early is that I know it might not be convenient, but because of ABCD, but by the time you are just dishing out commands, they will not like you, even if you are strict. So you have to be strict at the same time be soft. Learn to balance so that they will understand where you are coming from. Because in fact, if you want to know how angry you are, go and be a leader, then set your patience. at any level. So if you are a leader, you have to have anger management. You have to be in control of your emotions because they will provoke you beyond where you might expect. So that's my
thank you very much. You see, when she was talking, I was remembering President's wife, former President's wife, Jonathan Pepe. People were yabbing her crudeness, her strictness. Then, well, post her administration, people started saying, "Oh my goodness, we miss patience." So, what do we want? Because I remember during that time, she was like, it was the public enemy #1. Because how can she be embarrassing like that? How can she be secret? To see how she even looks. You know, we used to really criticize this woman. But she was as crude can be. She was not trying to...
But she was vocal.
She was very vocal and very eloquent.
But then we need to understand something, that whether we like it or not, the public sector is a bit lazy and laid back in terms of delivery and work. Even the time they get to work, even the time they clock out, everything is just very shoddy. So when I saw that video of them rejoicing and everything, it's obvious that you can tell that this person is here to work, but they're not ready to work. And then secondly, you can find out that in terms of cutting out certain things like flagging out events and stuff, there are some people in that ministry that if they've been there for 10 years, it has been their own contract to bring the person that is putting the poster. So there's so many. So these are the things we need to check, to be sure why certain things happened. Please, let
me stay Bonamaka for a second, because I hear you. But you see, sometimes these things must be done gradually. And we used Fashola yesterday. Was it yesterday we talked about Fashola? Saying that he comes in, he's still oiling the system. He's still there. Like, maybe they like to do all this, because I know somebody that became a commissioner and said they're always doing one party, always send for. I can't stop them from doing that. My own is make sure the work I'm here to do, make sure you do it. So you can be doing your send for, you can be doing your So there's a possibility that you must be able to do it. Because if you cut it off, you get cut off, and that's what happened. So we're not saying don't do work. But do work as you have to be very diplomatic and know how to manage these things. Because if you continue, you have to
That's what even makes you an effective leader. The last caller was just spot on. So as you go high in rank, you must learn how to play both sides. There's no wisdom in just saying, this is who I am, and I cannot change if you cannot work with me. Some systems will not allow you. When we get to that point, to the Obodo people and the Americans and all of that, where we don't need you to play any side, we just need you to come in and do the work. Even at that, we watched this movie now, The Crown. We saw all the politics that were being played, the intrigues, the conversations that will be had beneath and under before some decisions are taken. Nepotism, everything. It plays out everywhere in the world. So as a leader, you must be able to balance it. So maybe, and that's why I always say, we need people like the PR department who would help these leaders when they come out to present their case. Help them to train them on how to talk, train them on how to present,
to sell their
hard work and their ideas. No matter how upset they are about a situation, you would tell them that when you come out, your emotions must be under control. There's we have people with their mic standing there saying, follow the script and all of that, so that you communicate what you're supposed to communicate, and people, your good will not be evil spoken of. And
let me take this call. Elder Henry, thanks for calling. You're live.
Elder.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. I like what you people are doing. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
I was very happy that the Minister of Education was hammered. He was involved in policy from a source. You can't imagine that himself, a child of a teenager, can only enter university. When in some country, a child of a university can graduate and be a doctor. So I was very happy that he was sacked. My only disappointment was that the Minister of Power was not hammered.
Okay, don't you have light in your house? Elder, you don't have light in your house. Don't you have light?
I don't have light. I'm using solar.
Where? Okay, using solar. Which area?
Yes.
Which area do you live?
In Benin Auchi Road.
Okay, Auchi Road. Okay.
They will get to you, sir. So the national grid collapsed within 1 week, 3 times, and the man was still retained. That's my disappointment on the cabinet result.
Thank you very much, Elder. You're right. Collapsing that back to back.
Because there's been an explanation to buttress the reasons behind the collapse. That's why I did not call him out. And when he came into power, there's been improvement in that ministry. Yeah. He has brought in some things that you can. I want to go to.
Wait, come back. Stay with us.
When we come back, here we go.
Hello,
people.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ready, set, fun! This December, gear up for the most thrilling family event of the year. The Konak Foundation Children's Fun Paradise is back and better than ever. Yes, it's another edition of the biggest children's fun paradise happening live in Umuahia. Where will you be from 27th to 29th of December 2024? Come create unforgettable memories with your kids aged 1 to 15 and enjoy thrilling activities like zipline, rollerboards, soccer dartboard, water volleyball, ice cream bounce, water slides. Bring your swimwear. It's going to be a blast. Plus, there's exciting entertainment, dancing competitions, fashion parades, arcade, and so much more. Santa Claus will be there with loads of goodies. Venue, Umuahia Township Stadium. Time, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. Park closes by 5 p.m. on the 29th. Gate fee, absolutely free. Children must be accompanied by their parents or guardians. Children's Fun Paradise, CCFP 2024. Powered by Konak Foundation. Supported by Rapid Radio and TV. See you there.
At break time, when my champ needs to keep going, he's going to need his favorite snack, containing calcium, iron, and fiber.
Milo Energy Snacks, snack of future champions. Milo!
Mealtime is game on. Meet my Sure Bet Game Changer, made from natural ingredients to deliver game-changing chicken aroma and taste for my whole team.
Mom, why did we not use this before?
Upgrade your chicken game with game-changing chicken flavor from Maggi Chicken.
Thanks for staying with us. So remember, it's Thursdays, our gist here. There's no way we can go through a Thursday without gisting about marriage and family.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
This story caught our attention, and we thought it was discussion worthy. It was like women struggling. The women who are struggling to find a partner are the ones who are wife material.
Hi.
The ones who are on the streets, according to this person's perspective, are not having issues at all because men are sending mixed messages. Now, this perspective suggests that societal expectations and behaviors around relationships and partner selection are complex and contradictory. It implies that women who embody the traditional wife material, the church girl, the mosque girl qualities may face challenges because the behaviors and preferences of men expressed is inconsistent and unfair.
No.
What are your thoughts? You can call us on the numbers on your screen, 081-0764-1679, 090-241-63440. You can also send us messages on X and on YouTube. Ladies, you see, this gist there, many of our young girls have been raised to be good girls. Go to church, pray, do your 5 times a day, prayers daily, wear your hijab, be humble, just be very humble and be keeping yourself. And they are raised that way. And in those that are being raised, some of them just it out, just do that. They don't care. They out there have boyfriends. Some of them getting early sexually active. They are more expressive of who they are. And then fast forward 10 years. The ones who are wife material, who are humble, they are still trying to find somebody today, in today's time, it's not our time, in today's time. And the ones who are out there, who've seen the world, who've traveled, and they are settled with somebody. They found one person, and they're fine. And then the conversation is like, okay, is it that we misled the wife materials? Because now they're wondering, nobody wants my kind. My kind that is also secretly wanting that kind. So my kind that I thought was raised like me, church boy like me, inside somewhere in his mind,
no church boys
he's admiring the shaprapra one.
Church boys no
so
more.
He's forced himself to marry me, the nice one. But in his heart is out there.
He wants that one with those tendencies.
What can we do? Because it's getting frustrating.
I think it's because everybody is lying to themselves right from the beginning. They are faking it. The idea of, oh, this is a very good girl. The person has been told this is how you should behave so that you can get a man.
A man, yeah.
It's like when they say, if you come, there was a pastor, controversial pastor that said, if you were a Beshe girl that comes to church and pretend that you are a church girl so that you can catch a church boy, don't worry. It is the Beshe boys too that came to church to find that you will meet yourselves in church, because you cannot deceive
the Beshe people.
Yes, that you will jam yourself, because that's another template. People will live their life and then they will now convert and be humble in church. So there's a lot of fakeness, there's a lot of false narrative, fake life around us. People that are forcing themselves to present this, to present this holier than thou, which is not from within them, but because they have been told this is how you should be. And men value honesty. So when they see you that you are all comported and all of that, but they can smell that deceit. And they see someone else that looks like I'm all crazy, but they can see the honesty. I'd rather take the crazy person that I know is honest than the one that is forming, but might come into the house and turn into something else when I bring her in. So I think that might be the issue, because we think we can sustain that deception. If you are a good girl, you're not deceiving, you're just a naturally calm person, you find your own. You find that person.
Okay, you're missing this you're missing this brief. You're not getting this brief. The brief is, you're a good girl. You're not faking it. This is who you are. You obey the rules. You go to church 3 times a week, 4 times a week. You go to work, you come back, you don't go to clubs. You're a good girl. You don't need mommy, house, work, mommy, house, like that.
How would you not meet the person?
So because usually either referral, you meet them at a good Christian party in church, events, or maybe somebody, you go by the rules. You now finally realize that your girlfriend, who is out there doing stuff, is the one that was able to meet this guy, and you are still there doing the right thing. So the question is, this is our auntie that we have raised to be a good girl. Should we turn her bad to be able to settle? Because that's her desire. Not every woman wants to settle down, but this one, her desire is to settle down. Should we tell auntie, drop this thing and just go and clean up your skin, do this, do and buy 20-inch long hair? I mean, what are we telling her? What are we doing? How do we re-raise or help this young lady?
I think we should allow people to be themselves, and we should give grace to the people who are not like us, so that we don't have some of these issues. Now, I've realized that sometimes there's what is, I would call, seen to be a wife material and an actual wife material.
Yeah.
Now, the actual wife material could be in the package of the randy girl out there. She hangs out, she does clubbing, but when she meets her man, she knows how to take care of her man. She pays attention to the man's needs. The man is falling head over heels because she knows how to give that respect. She's a good cook. She is clean. She handles the home. They are the ones that get the husband faster. But the seem-to-be wife material, who all her life just knows, I go to church, I come back. Sometimes when you hear, I have a lot of young people close to my age that are not married around me. When you hear the conversations they have, they are quite rude, the ones I know. And I'm like, even me as as I am, I have never spoken to my husband like this. They are quite rude. They are quite, their character is quite brash and mean. and more authoritative, like I have to be in control of everything. Men don't like that. You need to give men space to be needed. You need to give men space to play the hero. They want to do everything a certain way and insist on it. Men will run away. Now you see those girls outside who are doing, I am all here, I am all that, and all that. When they come to their men, they are homely. They pay attention. And so they get the husbands. And then we sit down and say, but I've served God how many years? I've done this. I'm a good girl. I go to church. They see me. I'm only this, that.
Pause.
But you're not checking the box.
Busy pause. We have to unpack this. This is the heavy stuff you're saying. No. Let me tell you why it's heavy. Because a young girl who we've not allowed to have a boyfriend. We're not allowed to do sleepovers. We've just really kept her shielded. She doesn't know what's going on out there. She knows her boyfriend. She's dreaming of her date, her first kiss and everything, you know. But she's really just waiting for that guy to come marry her when she's,
Knight and shining
and then the knight and shining. I'm out to come and marry her, and then she gets married. But what we are seeing now today is that that doesn't make you wife material.
It doesn't.
That shielded atmosphere you have that was created for you does not necessarily make you a wife material, because a wife material is beyond being a good girl. It's knowing how to
take care of
the man and do the things in different ways.
Something.
So how do we help this? Amaka,
So let me start with the joke of, I bet, which ministry came up with this data statistics that we are running with. So for me, let me start with that joke, right? Because all these things we are saying are assumptions. Because 2024 has been a year packed with love, relationship, marriage has been happening. So let's work with whoever came up with it.
Now, all running on our streets.
Calm down. If you coming down, no, even godly people, I see them, even the people. So I don't know who's coming up with this statistics, but let's one thing I want us to talk about first of all is the tools available to us now that's widened and broadened our spectrum in finding different things. Before, men were like in the smaller. Their choices were a bit restrictive, right? Where you have to go out or church or events, whatever, to see or to find, right? But now men are on TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. Now you're seeing a church girl, you're seeing everything dangling, you're seeing. And men are moved by what they see. So everything is just doing the man like. So a man that does not have discipline, a man that does not know himself or knows what he wants. You see, that thing that is physical, and then the good girl, they wonder how I want. So now they are wanting both.
They've always wanted both.
They've always wanted both, but have always pretended and shrouded it that they do not want both.
Society make them feel like a responsible man should go for this good girl.
Do you understand? So that is the reality of the matter. But now that everything is in the face, where they are telling you that on social media, you're saying that even church girl can still
Bliss wife danced to Moses Bliss' song. She's a pastor's daughter. She preaches beautiful church girl, but she didn't dance conventional dance. So it's like she gave dance. And it was that dance that Moses Bliss saw and shoot his shot and sent a DM. That's how they met and got married.
Yes.
It was not a conversation of I met her in church. The idea of what BC said as per being authentically living your full life.
Yourself. Be who you are.
Be authentic and live. You love God. You like dancing. You will meet your kind.
Wait. Let me. There's somebody I know. This girl, unfortunately, was one of those people that conformed to the good girl thing, where she was just a good girl for many years. And she did that until she was like 40, I think 40, over 40.
Hi.
Then
that was a long time.
I saw her for the first time maybe 2 years ago. God has relaxed her hair. But because she used to do natural hair, I see she has never done, and she used to. She was one of the proper deeper life looking each person. She had relaxed her hair. She was wearing a weave. I saw her dressed in a very, very worldly way. And I go, Sister Lagbaja, long time. How are you doing? Are you looking really, really good? It's now like when she was 42. She now realized that this my behavior, Mommy Gio behavior, is not working. Let me switch. You know this girl has gotten married.
After
switching. This year, this year, she married.
Yeah. So,
what if
so
maybe
I
she's
think
44 this year?
we are missing the point, which is, it's not about how you present yourself. It's about who you are.
We've trained children to present themselves in that holy way.
It's about who you are. It's about who you want to become. It's about owning your space. And that is what a man will see and say is Tope that I like, because she's authentic. Tope can be in church, be godly. We all grew up in church here. Know the scriptures front and back to front and everything. Be respectful to our parents and also have lively personality. And also be able to hold conversation. And your guy is talking to you and he's like, you're so wise. How old are you again? Right? You can have all of that. Now, where we pay attention is look a certain way, dress a certain way, cover yourself a certain way. We are not paying, don't laugh too much. We're not paying attention to, do you have a healthy self-esteem? Do you have that confidence? Can you walk in your space? Can you own your space? Can you have conversations? Can you hold the room? Can you walk in and everybody's asking, who is this girl? Can you do that?
You're not meant to be walking in and they'll be saying, who is the girl?
No, you're not getting what I'm saying.
The church girl is not taught to walk in and own the room.
That is where the problem is.
She's meant to walk in and nobody will see you.
Yeah, that is where the problem is. So you realize after 40 that I have to be seen. I have a lot of dreams. I have a lot of values. I have people out there who need someone like me to come into their life. And you're waking up late. So we need to change the conversation. You can train your children. Sorry, my darling, I'm coming. You can train your children to be able to be godly, which is what everybody wants. I don't really care. Be godly in a certain way, but own their space. Have that confidence. Have that self-esteem. Know what they want. Not be afraid to go for what they want.
Which also brings me to let me step into what you're saying. Like, for me, I've always preached on this platform that, man, know thyself. First of all. So, and we keep going from the angle of as if like it's someone that is choosing the women, right? How about like if most of the times these church girls, they want that man on the streets.
They do.
And that the kind of men that they are seeing in church is not going to give them that thing that they want. You also need to look at it from that perspective too. It's not just about the man wanting. It's also about the woman wanting and what the woman wants. They have to meet. You understand? So if the woman maybe has certain needs that our value system in the past has not allowed her to express, and she's molded herself in a certain way, she's going to church and all those things, and then the kind of guys that step into her are the brothers or the pastors, but that's not who she wants to be with. So her suitors for her are boring. She wants the yoppie guy.
Are you saying that suitors in the church are boring?
I'm not saying that. I'm just giving an example. I'm giving an example. Let me land. PC now. I allowed you to talk. Let me speak. So what I'm trying to say is that the church girl might not want the church boy. Maybe she doesn't want a pastor. She does not want to marry a pastor. The pastor might be seeing her as this is a good girl, good upbringing and everything.
It's easier for her to find a man.
Yeah, do you understand?
It's not easier for her. But that kind of person, that kind of girl.
Yes, I'm saying.
It's easier for her.
Because I'm saying she has suitors, but that's not what she wants.
What I'm saying, that it's easier to perhaps even find the suitors outside church. Someone like that.
No, but because she has been outside the church, but because she has been programmed that she does not know where to go outside the church to connect, to be in the environment, to meet those kind of people.
Right.
So she is in. She's
for example,
to find herself.
let me break it down. So a young girl now has been raised to be that good girl.
Yes.
But she watches movies, love stories. She watches Korean movies where they're giving flowers, they're taking them out, and she also wants that. But the church guy is not doing that. Let's just go to fellowship. Let's just go to, that's all he does.
I beg to differ.
She desires that TDH outside. She also wants that, right? So I'm saying that it's easier for her to step outside that and meet somebody.
Exactly.
So don't you think that the problem is on healthy expectations set up by movies, novels, social media, so much that people have good marriages but are looking for what the kind of romance they've seen in movies, and they're not content with what they have? Because while I love what Amaka said when she said, let's question the statistics, because in the churches where I grew up, we cannot have single, mature, godly person. They will find you husband. They would introduce you to someone.
Really?
They would bring that match and have a conversation that this brother is looking. You are single.
What's going on?
Let's find out, and they have marriage. And the purpose of the marriage is we are coming together, we're going to glorify God, we'll support one another. And there's the issue comes up when either of the party has watched too much romantic movies of Oyibo style and start expecting the husband, in Nigerian African man, to begin to display and give the things that they get from Uyibo film, which is different. It also brings dissatisfaction in dating, because here you are. You met a Nigerian man and you're expecting he will bring you flowers, take you to I was dating. Wait, me and my husband toured all the Amala joints of Lagos. And it was okay. I did not expect that he will carry me to high-end, maybe because I don't watch a lot of Netflix and Orishirishi. So Amala was good. Oh, let's go to Amala Shita. Oh, let's go to Amala White House. Let's go to Amala. Where you like sampling out different. I didn't necessarily like Amala, but it was a case of this is the person that I am in a relationship with, and this is his idea of hangout. So if I now choose to start looking at that hangout as beneath me, or it's not romantic because it is Amala, then I will lose that opportunity to have an amazing relationship, and then I'll be sitting on the shelf for a very long time. We need to discuss this difference.
Okay, I like where you've taken us to. Yes, please. That's a conversation worthy to have, because there are lots of women in that situation. Okay, when I married you, I was okay with Amala joints. Now, I want to go to Korean. I want to go to Taiwan. I want to have evolved. You are still in the Amala joint. I have gone to China. I want to go. And society today is going to be questioning that woman for saying she wants something different. So, must she be tied to the Amala joint relationship for the rest of her life? Because when we're saying that we are changing, women are changing. We're saying that we don't have our mothers would have stayed with the Amala joint, even though every other person has moved on.
Want Chinese?
This woman is saying, no, I want Chinese. I'm done.
So the question. Sorry.
Wait. So two of you hold on. I have a caller. Good morning, Jibola. You're live. Thanks for calling.
I'm good.
Jibola, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, you see, this topic you brought this morning just brought back a very personal memory. If we have this topic of mine, it was everywhere in the campus, Egg Club, Futara. There was even a handout then at school. What Lagos can talk about. But she ended up being a white man. Totally changed. So that is it. Be yourself. That is it. You feel exuberancy, adolescent life, that was for the past. He's the woman in me. But then at campus, nobody wants to live in that situation.
I'm struggling to hear you, sir.
Hope our viewers heard him, because I didn't hear him at all. Okay, who wants to go first? Okay.
So what I want to say is this, So the question here is, be true to yourself. Stop me, for example, being true to the Amala eating, right? That okay, I like Amala, then tomorrow I want flowers, and then tomorrow she start asking for flowers. That maybe inside her mind she was pretending to eat Amala, but maybe inside her mind she wants flower. And then the husband now will not say, but this is not the woman I married. The woman I married was okay with my Amala eating. Why do you now want flower? So are women pretending? They are changing. So let's be direct. Are people pretending to marry?
Yes. God
are you yourself, so that whoever comes to you will know that this is me and love you for
it's not evolution.
What is this? It's not evolution.
She's right.
No.
It's not evolution. In some cases, let us understand. You're right, Amaka, 150%. Because many of us, we are hitting 25, you are hitting 29, you are hitting 30, and let me just do the Amala. Let me just pretend to like Amala, so I can just enter this marriage. But that's not your true self. That's a recipe for disaster. That's on one hand.
There are majority of women who get into themselves in marriage, who find themselves in marriage. A lot of us married very early before we even realize how to wash our pants properly. And in that marriage, as you're growing, your needs are changing. Life is changing, and you are changing, and you are evolving. And if tomorrow I wake up, I say, okay, I'm not interested in Amala anymore. Is there a way we can have the flowers? You should be able to grow with me. It's a conversation I should be willing to have with you to say, I am moving. These are my new needs. And our body, in fact, when you hit 30, is a different ball game. When you hit 40, is a different ball game. When you hit 50, I remember when we had is it Shego Obe, the singer and the wife here, when she said when she hits 50, she felt like she wanted to leave the marriage. Her body was changing. There were needs that were growing. You will not say that person was pretending, except you're not ready to have a conversation. Human beings will always evolve and grow. Now, let me add a little thing to what Amaka had said earlier on. The church boys that I know, are actually very exciting. They come to church. They are the same people that go to the clubs. Some. No, I'm not talking about people that live in the club. I'm talking about regular people who have a life. They are in church, they play the instruments and everything. They are the same people that hang out. They are fun. But because they are in a church setting, they act like you're in the church setting. So when you go out there, you see them for who they are. The idea is not about whether you are in church or not. The idea is about who are you? What's your personality? What do you want from this relationship? Can you identify what you want and go for it, irrespective of what people are saying? And
I want to hold you because there's something in my head.
All right,
and I need you to even help me to respond to this. So a woman did amala, right? Now she has evolved. This woman who wants to bust out because she has evolved to something and said, I'm done with this marriage. Okay, I lied. Let me admit, I lied that I like amala.
Okay.
I don't lie. I never liked amala. Now I'm in my 40s. I like Korean. Now, she's advised to stay, regardless, and just manage it. The reason is because people will tell her that in the next 20 years, you'll be 60 and 70 years old. No,
you will not have it.
You don't have those desires anymore. Korean, no, amala, everything will not be nothing. The only thing that will sustain you when you're 70 is friendship and companionship. So hold this your desire, suppress it, and manage it. Because when you are 70, that's why when our mothers are celebrating 50 years of marriage, they forget a 20-year gap of frustration.
Yeah.
They suppress it. They remove the 20 years gap. They don't share.
Yeah.
They suppress it because, hey, my children are now living, they are married, So I feel fulfilled and successful. So now that they are smiling, are we supposed to therefore overlook that gap of, okay, they didn't really have a fulfilling life? So my question to you, BC, is that what advice are we giving to women? If you get to that point where you say, I don't want amala anymore, should you suppress it?
Life is about compromise.
No.
Life is about
Yes.
you,
when you're done.
The idea is, can I respond, please? The idea is not to suppress it. The idea is to have a conversation with your partner, to say, this is the new leaf that I am turning, and find a way to understand each other. You may not have to turn the leaf 60 leaves. You may have to turn a little and your partner meets you halfway. Like you rightly said, it's compromise. The problem is where you now have a partner who refuses to compromise. That's where the problem is. A lot of women don't want to wake up and leave their homes. Most women that I know want to be married till forever. But then you now have a strong-headed, coconut head partner who says, this is the way my forefathers were. This is how it's going to be forever and ever and ever. And the woman gets to a point where she says, I can't deal with this anymore. The people who have been able to go above that are people who have partners who now understand, okay, how can we make a little adjustment?
No, go too far.
How can we give you a little?
How
can we give you small?
Go back to that person. That person who is frustrated that has the coconut.
Yes, coconut.
What should that person do?
Okay, so if you cannot find a way to change your partner to your side, either of two things. It's either you manage it, which is what our parents have been begging us, or you walk away.
Now, if you walk away and you're now 70, you now start feeling regret because you don't have a companion anymore.
You can live till. I'm so sorry. And let me just. I'll make it very short. You can live till 70, thinking that you will have a relationship till 70, and God forbid, from 60 the man packs up.
What would you?
Or from 60 you are nursing and wiping bomb till you're 70. So we don't know what the future holds. In this moment, I want to live this moment and be happy, fulfilled. And if it will not make me happy and fulfilled, and I've done everything humanly possible, that is when you consider option of checking.
Okay, so we need to understand that both parties evolve in life and in relationships. It's not just the woman, right? And then we need to understand that people don't catch up at the same time and same frequency. So where there's love and there's patience and understanding, you can, like she said, talk, keep communicating, go for counseling to be able to catch up with one another. If someone really cares about you, they want to understand your needs. They want to, even if 100%, they're not willing to, turn 360, but they're willing to understand what you, and it's important to also communicate your needs and not just assume that someone is a mind reader and should know that now you want this or you want that. So communicating that, going for counseling, and still knowing if your partner still cares and loves you, because things change. Because some people still be in that marriage and the love is dead. And so if someone doesn't care about you, they are not willing to move an inch to meet you. But if someone still cares about you, they still try to understand this person, whether this man or woman, and then
let me take trying
to wait.
A few comments. This is unfortunately this from Mr. Gbenga Ademujimi. He says that unfortunately many ladies, though they know men, Okay, I didn't get that part. Over 70% of them don't know what we look for. Every man wants a self-discovered woman, respectful follower, but who can step into the office of the CEO when needed. The day I saw my wife, I knew this is her, and no waste of time. 2 decades running without any marital migraine. This is unlocking the lock. Well done. Thank you. Any other comments?
Yeah. Okay, so somebody said on YouTube. Somebody said marriage is overplayed in our lives. There are many marriages not happy, just coping.
But coping.
That's quite true. So yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Josh really says, are there always something? There's always. Are there not always something to suppress in a relationship that is lasting longer? I think compromise means you're suppressing some of the things you want because you want to
make it work.
Make it work.
Or make it look like it's working.
No, make it work.
That's another aspect.
Even for it to work, you would need to, but state the things you are sacrificing. Like, I'm making this specifically for...
Engineer Tijani sent me something. You know, usually when Engineer Tijani sent me something, he sends me long.
This time it is very short.
So he complained to me. Mariah, I'm sorry, I'm always sending you long comments. So now he sent me one sentence. Engineer, it's too short. We like your long ones. This one is too short. Hello, Mariah. Women who are struggling to have a partner despite being wife material is because the men who are husband material are scarce nowadays. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
I agree.
Really? Yes. Men? I don't think so.
I think a lot of men
who are husband materials.
Husband materials.
A lot of men at the age of women that are ready do not have the finances to approach.
We don't need finances now.
And they don't know. They don't know.
Material is
I have a lot of young guys around me. Many of them I'm pushing them that you have a relationship, make the move, or you don't even have a relationship, make the move. Many of them will be like, I don't have enough money. Before you rent a house in Nigeria, before you buy a car, it will get you without like the people that can, the good boys, the good guys out there do not have the resources to maintain the relationship girls of nowadays want. Majority of the cases.
Even maintain basic relationships. Yes. Many girls I know are not wanting too much.
Discipline, because too many choices and too many, like I told you, the spectrum is now wider. Where you're talking to someone on Facebook, you're talking to someone on TikTok, so one guy you're talking to. So for men now, the spectrum is wider.
They can't choose.
Make a choice.
So it's discipline. Finding people that have discipline is key. So stick and commit to something. That is it. Discipline.
My question is, must they commit?
Materials are available are already husbands. That's where the problem is.
No. A lot of now, then I think many of them are husband material. Because many of them were raised properly. But I think they're just being blinded by this financial inadequacy.
Yes.
If we remove that financial inadequacy, I'm sure many of them will be ready to get married.
I agree.
Why don't we lift it from there? Because a lot of women are actually doing very well. So, I mean,
people are uncomfortable marrying a woman that is doing well when they are not doing well.
Yeah.
So if I see a woman already,
men are looking for women who have money.
We need more. We need more. We need to talk more about it. There is room. And if there's any girl watching that feels like being a good girl has not gotten you married, just join Hallelujah Challenge. They are prophesying marriage for everybody right now. You're my cob through that way.
So good girls is more.
Anyway, we have to wrap up. Let's take a few comments because I think I like what Amaka said earlier. That listen, let us not pretend to be who we're not. Know thyself. You know, if we are all good girls. We're all raised as good girls. And but today's new world has given everybody a platform such that you can't find. It's not about being a good girl anymore. It's about finding yourself, finding who you are.
Being authentic.
Being authentic.
Being the good girl. Be good girling yourself. There are many influencers
be a good girl,
that are making money from just tweeting.
What's your idea of good? What's your idea of good?
When I say
go to church, pray, and you're wicked. You're jealous.
That's a category.
Wait,
you're stingy.
You're stingy. You're disrespectful.
That's a category.
But you go to church.
You can be good. Go to church. Not wear earring. Not wear makeup. And still.
Be authentic to yourself.
Be authentic to yourself and work on your character. That's it. Which one is good girl?
Can I wrap up?
Yes. Please, my darling, wrap up.
In a nutshell, what we are saying is that if you're a good girl out there, find who you are, be authentic to who you are. It's not about your physical appearance all the time. It's about what you have inside to give. They always told us that. We're going to be is about who you are on the inside. But the men of today also, because of their confusion, many of them want good girl that has some spice. They have heavy. So you have to now. So also we have to find a way to be such that we are true to yourself and don't go and marry somebody that you are faking it with the person. You're not being who you're real, because those kind of marriages don't last.
It doesn't.
And eventually, at some point, you will get to that middle age where you're like, you know what, I am done.
I don't know.
And there's nothing anybody can do to pull you back. That's all we can take on this show today. Hope you learned a few things as we have. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Entertainment will be an all-encompassing thing that interests you from different spheres or different forms of art. So it could be spoken word, it could be rap. Like my own parents say, my people go like enjoy it and give it its own like respect. I guess in my mind, entertainment is just a broad spectrum.
Are you ready? This is Max Hits. That's about that time. Hey. I got hit music. Yeah. All the hits. Max Hits. Yeah.
Let me take you back to old school.
Golden Oldies.
Ghana girl say she want marry me yo. I hope say she sabi kukuwache. Hope your love go sweet past the sheet up. Baby girl, I say your body na killer oh. Oh, yeah, I beat it diet of your body. Oh, only on your body. That girl for the corner, tell somebody make the call I'm see the wine, I see fire for her body. And if she follow me, go now, enjoyment go kill em. Baby girl, you bad, girl, the way you whine. I demand over you, girl. I demand over you, girl. Say you are my woman, my superwoman. I demand over you, girl. I demand over you, girl.
For the love, girl I want me, she want for the dough. Last half for the love, girl I want for the die for the dough. Die for the dough, girl I want me, she want for the dough. Girl I want for the love, girl I die for the die for the love.
If I sing for you, you gon' love me, oh baby, love me non-stop. I will love you non-stop. Always just you one top, baby, oh. All about you, want me, oh. Play the music non-stop. Tell them dance to my song. Tell them shake it. Oh, yeah. That girl for the corner, tell somebody make the call. Oh, yeah. They see the wine, I see fire for her body, fire for her body. And if she follow me, go now, enjoyment go kill em. Baby girl, you bad, girl, the way you whine. I demand over you, girl. I demand over you, girl. Say you are my woman, my superwoman. I demand over you, girl. I demand over you, girl.
Die for the love, girl I want me, she want for the dough. Last half for the love, girl I want for the die for the dough. Die for the dough, girl I want me, she want for the dough. Girl I die for the love.
Ghana girl say she want marry me yo. I hope say she sabi kukuwache. Hope your love go sweet past the sheet up. Baby girl, I say your body na killer oh. Oh, yeah, I beat it diet of your body. Oh, only on your body. And say, baby, why not? And say.
Golden Oldies.
Golding Oldies.
Are you ready? This is Max Hits. That's about that time. Hey. I got hit music. Yeah. Max Hits. Yeah.
Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw ether material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Desde atrás, avanzar sin dudar, ocultar que se tuvo un pasado. Lo importante es saber dónde vas, dominar la pasión, piel de ángel que cubre un león, corazones de fuego y de hielo. En tu dicha se oculta dolor, vuela sin alma, sacrificando el amor, cuerpo sin calma. Estás cometiendo un error, ciega no alcanzas a encontrar de verdad la pasión, mientes sin pausa y al final sabrás que el amor deja sin armas.
I knew this would happen. I knew it. But nobody listened to me.
Go ahead, go ahead. Tell this man to help us. Is everything here? Is everything all right?
It's not. Did you see the storm out there? Mr. Minister, over here, please.
I'm so wet. I'm worried about what's left in the
Tell
backyard.
Hortensia and Lucia to help you bring all the things inside. And start with the stereo, because I do not need a guest to die of electrocution in my house.
Yes, sir. Do not worry, I will fix everything. Please excuse me.
Who had the idea of doing that out there in the backyard?
I have no idea. It was a really bad move. Enrique, I'm sorry. Look, I'll bring you a drink, okay?
Don't worry. What a disaster.
Go run quickly to the backyard and bring the stereo inside or we're going to have a power cut.
I am in charge of the food, so I cannot move from here.
I can help you, okay? Thank you so much. It's incredible. You are seeing that this meeting is a disaster and you don't want to move a finger.
Do you realize what you just did? Thanks to your crazy ideas, I have the minister inside all wet from head to toe.
Mr. President, just tell me what I have to do.
I don't know what to do because it's usually my wife who takes care of this.
Please calm down. Stay calm. We're taking everything inside from the backyard and I promise I will do all the drinks and the snacks again. Excuse me.
Oh, my love, it took me so long to get here. There was too much traffic. And you, what happened to you?
I got wet. Like the food, like the guests, like everything.
Why?
Because Paloma did the reunion out of the backyard.
And you can imagine the rest. Oh, no. What did your dad say?
Hello, Anna Milena.
Come here, let me help you.
Everything went wrong, Mariano.
Calm down. We took everything inside. All the people are inside too. Everything has a solution, don't worry.
No. Leonardo's so angry with me.
I'm gonna put everything away and then I'll come to help you.
What does this mean?
Don't get upset. I don't like to fight with you.
No, I don't like you changing my plans last minute at all, Federico. We spoke about having dinner together, didn't we?
Yes.
No, but as always, our plan is ruined by your wife.
No. Wait a minute. Leave Paula out of this. Paula does not have anything to do with us. I told you that Paloma showed up and I have to go with her mom to look for her. What happened?
Have a good time with your cousin.
Hello?
Hello, my love. Are you on your way?
Yes, almost there. Why?
Because Estrella told me you were going out because Paloma was found. And I wanted to remind you that I'm ovulating for the next couple of days.
Yes, that girl finally appeared, and do not worry, I will not forget about the other thing.
Okay. Don't be late, please, my love. Because right now my temperature's perfect.
Okay, I will take Estrella to meet Paloma, and then I'm all yours tonight.
I love you.
I love you too. Lucy, look. Oh my.
Be careful not to drop anything. Have you realized what happens when you make up your own rules? What was the first thing we said? Do not do anything in the backyard, and it was the first thing you did.
I'm sorry. I just wanted everything to go perfectly.
With this mess up, we are showing Leonardo that he is right, because if I'm not in the house, everything turns out this way, and everything spins out into chaos.
I'm so sorry.
Look, you and I will talk about this later, alone. Now make yourself useful and help save this dinner.
Well, getting wet once in a while will not hurt anyone.
I've got some cheeses, but I suggest not eating too much because dinner is almost ready.
Anna Milena, where were you? At the Head Family Women Association?
Yes, I have just come from a very important meeting with them. They wanted to talk about work, education for their children, and how they could get a home loan for their families. And that was why I was late. And because of the rain and the traffic.
What is important is that you're here now. That's what matters.
Well, cheers to being indoors in bad weather, right? Cheers.
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 Cheers, because we are all wet.
No, I think it's better if you go to a hotel.
Mother, why are you making such a big deal out of this? Alicio is a good guy and he likes to party, but it's not bad. On the contrary, he knows every night movement in this town.
Sure, and that makes you happy. Because you'll make sure you can party as well.
Yes, Mrs. Estrella, but we don't have money for a hotel anyway.
Paula, do you think it's okay if the boys stay here for a couple of days?
Well, I have to talk to Federico, but I don't think it'll be a problem.
Oh, okay. I'll talk to him when we go over there to find Paloma.
Over where? Where is Paloma?
Working.
Working where, Mother?
I'm not sure, my son. I haven't talked to her that much.
You haven't? Why?
Well, it's because she's hiding from me.
Did you see that it stopped raining? It wasn't going to be forever.
And how is this good for me? The The meeting turned out to be a total fiasco.
Don't say that, Paloma. Everybody got dry and then forgot all about the rain.
But this is how Leonardo was expecting to prove to Anna Milena that she can't deal with the house and college at the same time. I'm gonna be fired.
If you stay here feeling sorry for yourselves, then yes, you're going to get kicked out of here. You just need to go out there and help, that's it.
And why don't you go? Go and enjoy the wine and the food. Don't waste your time here with me. They're all sitting there waiting for you to give them some more government projects. They are all so happy with you. They flatter you. And Christina, every time she looks at you, falls for you. What else do you want?
Okay, relax. You do not have to take revenge on me. It's not my fault it rained. Paloma, I only want to help you.
I do not need any help. Not coming from you.
Look, just so you know, I think the idea of serving the drinks out there in the backyard was a really good one.
It's too bad only you think that way.